different ways to volunteer. You don't have to, Terry's going to show you how you volunteer in the classroom. You don't have to volunteer in the classroom. You'll be getting all sorts of notes and things looking for volunteers to help out with things at school. We're really happy when we have people who vacuum, because if someone else comes in after school and vacuums, then we don't have to do it. Because you see, part of this school is we're in charge of it. We don't have janitors every day and all these things. Watering plants. I keep track of when the plants need watering, because the one down there furthest down by the door, its leaves just roll up and it'll attract my attention and I'll look at it, oh, time to water the plants. But there's all these little things that need doing and big things, and this is
a volunteer
if you want to volunteer
book.
at school.
And if you want to volunteer in the classroom, and we start on August 27th. The first people have done a really good job. If you are going to volunteer for something, you cross it out on this page, turn to the next page, and you write down your name. And the reason we do that is so we don't get too many adults in the classroom at one time. I also am looking for people that want to help us. We have one soapbox derby car, and I need some people to volunteer to build some other gravity-controlled vehicles that we can use. They can be feet-controlled, or you can have the brake system that's on our soapbox derby, because we are going to take it over to the sort of subdivision that never was.
Just sort of sign in there.
And it has different slopes, and we are going to race on those. So if there's somebody that wants to come in and help, our problem last year is, and it's the same as this year, we don't have a lot of money in the budget. So it would have to be someone that could scrounge the materials and is willing to come in and help the kids build them.
I'd also, if we're talking about building, I'm real interested in getting a sandbox built in the shade, because I mean it's like hot even when we go out for break. So if someone was interested in talking to me about constructing a sandbox, because I mean it's good for kids to play with that. We're running out of time.
Okay, I'm just going to say one more thing. Please say, we're studying holes and cavities, and we would like you to save squeeze bottles. And there's a collection bin outside. It could be ketchup, it could be mustard, it could be salad dressing, anything you can think, because we want to see how the streams of water, what happens to them. And the kids are going to do a lot of experiments with it. So we are really looking for that. And that's about it.
Okay. Questions, compliments, and concerns. Usually when things are going real well, we don't hear from you. Usually when there's a problem, we hear from you. And it seems to be just sort of human nature. But we do take compliments along the way also. So, if things are going okay, you could, just let us know. And if you have questions, do ask, concerns. Like I mentioned, during the school day, we're really quite busy with the kids. You can always call me at home. I don't get home till later, but I'll leave a message on my phone and I'll get back to you. Or write a note or something. It's just during the school day, the kids really are where our focus is, and we don't mean to be rude or disrespectful or that way. If you have questions, do ask. Compliments, concerns. It's better to just, if you're concerned about something, we really appreciate you just coming and talking to us instead of letting it build up. Because usually we can get it worked out pretty easily. Volunteering's whatever route you volunteer, because that's the way of showing your kid you're interested in what's going on in his or her school. My mom comes and does this, my dad's helping at the fundraiser, we all have limited time, but something would be good. Also, I'm just about out of time. Arizona's has standards, you know, in education, and there's, you may have heard about core curriculum, and that's going to allow Arizona to compare its achievement to every other state in the union. And if you're familiar at all about Arizona's academic achievements, it's just about as good as their funding. So, I mean, in this class, we really do, the kids work hard. They've been, now that, you know, the honeymoon's coming to an end here, oh, this is hard work. And we talk, well, why do you want to do hard work? Yeah, it is hard work. Makes your brain grow, make more connections, and compete globally when you get big. Because we're competing against the world now. And there's also a thing for all of you who have second graders and first graders, move on when reading. This is an Arizona thing. If they don't pass, or if they're, okay, on Ames, there's 4 rankings: excelling, meets the standards, approaches, fall far behind. If you're in the top 2, you pass. You know, it exceeds or meets. If you're in approaches or falls far behind, you're not really passing that. And in 2 years, for second and next year, for next year's third graders, if they're in falls far behinds for reading, they'll stay another year in third grade. So if your kid is struggling, we'll contact you about tutoring also, because we do tutoring, because our goal is to help them be successful. But you might also be aware of that too, because that's coming, and that's Arizona state's law. Okay? I put discipline plans, and you know what we're working towards is self-discipline. We all need help along the way. If a child is really out of control and having a really rough go, then they will write them up, and they'll write a behavior plan, and we'll send that to you. I mean, that's sort of that's not the commonplace sort of thing, but you should be aware that, you know, we deal with all sorts of things each day. If it gets really out of control, then we start writing it up. So you're aware of it, the kid's aware of it, and it's called progressive discipline, because eventually what'll happen is the parent will be expected to come in and spend half a day with the kid, because what they do in the upper classes is they send them home for suspension. I thought sending someone home who doesn't want to be in school to start with is not the most brilliant idea. And so I was thinking about it, and I thought, well, we'll have the parent come in and watch how their child works, and the kid will still be in school. So that's that. And then also, you know, you're more important than we are in your child's life and education. You know, what skills, activities, academic endeavors are you working on with your child? Because it's a village, you know. So,
Cheers.
questions, comments?
Let me add one thing. I told Beth, who does the lunch program, that I would mention the lunch volunteer sign-up form. They gave us one to put in our class, but it's just been sitting here under like books and stuff. So that's one way you can volunteer, and I think those hours count towards your volunteering. So I know they need volunteers, so I'm gonna just have this here on this back table,
And it would just be at the 12 o'clock, because I'm serving lunch at 11:30 to our class.
yeah, so it's like about an hour in the middle of the day.
And
Right.
I'm going to talk to the office. You should all sign up for an hour of your volunteer time, because you know you're supposed to have 50 hours for coming to the meeting. Sign up, and I'll give you an hour for that, because might as well, you took your time to figure out what's going on in the school. Any other questions? So what would be helpful, since we're all part of the community, is that I even kept track of this. Hang on. If we do the first 3 rows of chairs, And then Karen's 1, 2, 3, then those 4 chairs. Those all go out this door over to Upper Elementary. And then those 2 at the end and all the rest go over to middle school. And I thank you. I know, and I thank you very much for coming this